Namaste. Welcome to the lecture series on the subject Applied Thermodynamics. This is module 5. In that part 1, reciprocating compressor. This is lecture number 4. Myself Dr. N. Satish Kumar, Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering, Canara Engineering College, Bantwal. So in this lecture, we will discuss multi-stage compression and derive expression for the work of multi-stage compression, and also in case of a two-stage compressor, what is the expression for the intermediate pressure in terms of initial and final pressures, and what is the condition for the minimum work in case of multi-stage compression. So let us begin with the multi-stage compression. So compression of air from initial pressure to the final desired pressure is carried out in two or more cylinders in series. You see, compression of air from initial pressure to the final pressure is carried out in two or more cylinders, or we call it as more stages. So these cylinders are connected in series. Now if you take example, in a two-stage compressor, air at a pressure of P1 enters the LP cylinder or low pressure cylinder, which is called as the first stage compressor, gets compressed to some intermediate pressure P2. So there is a pressure after compression in the LP cylinder, then comes out and enters the high pressure cylinder, wherein it gets compressed to the final pressure P3 before being delivered. That means in case of a two-stage compressor, if it enters at a pressure P1 to the LP cylinder, it gets compressed to intermediate pressure P2 and then enters the HP cylinder and comes out at final pressure P3. So this is how the air is compressed in a multi-stage compression. So example is given for the two-stage compressor. Now what are the advantages of this multi-stage compression? The work done per kg of air is reduced, so that I will show you later in a PV diagram while deriving the expression for the work done. It improves volumetric efficiency because of the low temperature, right? It reduces the leakage and loss considerably. It provides effective lubrication because of low temperature. It reduces the cost of the compressor. Now this is a diagram showing a multi-stage compression with intercooling. You can see motor is driving through this crankshaft and the connecting rod mechanism you can see here. So this is the LP cylinder and this is the HP cylinder, right? This is cylinder 1, this is cylinder 2. So here through a air filter, so this is the inlet valve, okay, here you can see inlet valve, okay, this portion is the inlet valve, this is the inlet valve actually. So through an air filter, the air enters the inlet valve, and during suction stroke the valve gets opened, pistons moves from TDC to BDC, because this I can call it as TDC and this level I can call it as BDC. Okay, so air enters, there is a suction stroke. Next stroke, when it piston moves upwards, so this gets closed and initially the pressure increases. When the required pressure is reached, so this outlet valve opens. You see, there's the outlet valve, and then it passes through an intercooler. You see here, if you have to get better efficiency in case of multi-stage compression, you have to pass the air after first stage compression through a device called as intercooler. Okay, through an intercooler. So here we are trying to reduce the temperature of this air without changing the pressure. So at same pressure it is cooled, so that when it enters into the HP cylinder and where the further compression takes place, its temperature should not shoot to a very high value. So temperature should not shoot a very high value. What happens is if you send this without intercooler to the second compressor, so temperature rises by a large amount. So that may affect the lubrication and other materials of this piston, cylinder and all those things. So that is why whenever you require high pressure, so you have to go for the multi-stage compression with an intercooler in between, and then it enters here. You see, there's the inlet valve here. During suction it enters, then undergoes compression, and when the required pressure is reached, so it is outlet valve opens and it is supplied to the pressure vessel. Okay. Now this is a PV diagram showing the multi-stage compression. So 1 is the entry to the LP cylinder, 4 is the pressure after the, actually it is P2, okay. So P2 is equal to P4, okay. So P4 is equal to P2, you can see here, okay. This is a PV diagram, this is P and this is V, okay. PV diagram. So first stage compression is from 1 to 4, then 4 to 2 is the intercooling. 4 to 2 is intercooling. So if the intercooling is perfect, then this temperature at the end of the intercooling should be equal to the initial temperature T1. T2 should be equal to T1. So then it is called as a perfect intercooling. In that case, P2 V2 is equal to P1 V1, because the entry temperature to both the compressors LP and HP are same. So then P2 V2 is equal to P1 V1. Now 2 to 3 is the second stage compression, and then 3 to 6 is the delivery, right? Then suction begins at 8 to 1. So LP cylinder, the work done is nothing but area under this LP cylinder area, that is 81478. You see 81478, you can see here, and also look into the diagram, because instead of me drawing the line over the curves, you better look into the diagram. 81478, you can understand that is the area enclosed by the curve for the LP cylinder. And the HP cylinder, it starts from 7 to 3, 6, 7. You see 3, 6 and back to 7. So that is this HP cylinder. Now work of compression of this multi-stage compression, you have to add the work of compression of the LP cylinder and also work of compression of the HP cylinder. And for perfect intercooling, that is T2 is equal to T1, so you will get this is the expression for the work done. Anyhow, I am going to derive this in the coming slides. Okay, so I am not going to explain this. And now here you can see, if the compression is carried out in one stage, then this air at entering at P1 and T1 should have been compressed to 5, right, in one stage. So if one stage compression is then 1 to 5 is the compression, and you can see because of intercooling this much shaded area is removed. That means there is a reduction in work, is this hatching portion, right? Now because of multi-stage compression, what is happening? 1, 4, 2, 3. So this shaded region, can you see here? So this shaded region gets eliminated because of multi-stage compression, means you are saving so much of work. So that is why in the under the heading advantages of multi-stage compression, so we mentioned that it reduces the work of compression. So this is the saving in the work. That is what you can see from the PV diagram. Now let us derive an expression for the work of compression in a two-stage compressor with intercooling. So you can see the PV diagram here. So 1 to 2 is the first stage compression, 2 to 2 dash is the intercooling, so pressure P2 is equal to P2 dash, 2 to 3 is the second stage compression. Okay, so this is the intake pressure, this is the intercooler pressure, and this is the delivery pressure. This is the LP cylinder, this is the HP cylinder, and it is the process is assumed to be polytropic for both LP compression as well as HP compression, with PV to the power n is equal to constant. Now suppose if you write the work of compression expression for the LP compressor on unit mass basis, so it is WC1 is equal to n by n minus 1 RT1 bracket P2 by P1 to the power n minus 1 by n minus 1 by n minus 1. So this expression you already developed or derived for single stage. So same expression you have to write for HP and LP cylinders. So here this is a work of compression if the compression is carried out isentropically. But in reality, irreversibilities do exist and the process is not isentropic. So in that case, the actual work of compression will be higher than the isentropic compression. So in that case, you have to divide this expression by eta C1 to get the expression for WC1. So here eta C1 is isentropic efficiency of the compressor. Okay. So you know that this isentropic efficiency is nothing but of the compressor is nothing but isentropic work input divided by actual work input. So if you want actual work input, then isentropic efficiency expression has to be divided by eta C, or in this case since it is first stage, so it is eta C1. Okay. Similarly, if you write the expression for the second stage compression, so it is WC2 is equal to 1 by eta C2 n by n minus 1 RT2 dash RT2 dash, because here you see the entry point to the second stage compression is T2 dash, the temperature. So bracket P3 by P to the power n minus 1 by n minus 1. So now these are the two expressions for the work of compression of LP and HP cylinders. Now to get the total work done, so you have to add these two expressions. So WC is equal to WC1 plus WC2. So this is what you will get after substitution. So direct substitution, whatever the expressions you got previously for the LP and HP compressors. Now if the intercooling is perfect or complete, so then T2 dash is equal to T1. So that is what I told you earlier. So then in this expression here, what is T2 dash is there, so that is replaced by T1. So once you replace that, you can see here n by n minus 1 RT1, here also n by n minus 1 RT1, so it becomes common term. Okay, now before we take it outside, if you assume that compression is carried out isentropically, so the efficiency term is removed from both the expressions, that is for work of compression expression for LP cylinder and the work of compression for the HP cylinder. That is the first two terms. From the two terms, right? From the two terms, you are removing the efficiency term, assuming that work of compression is isentropic. Now you can take n by n minus 1 P1 V1 outside, because RT1 you can also write as P1 V1, because P1 V1 is equal to RT1, because we are doing it for unit mass basis. So m is equal to 1 kg per second or per minute. Okay, so PV is equal to MRT. So that's the expression. So RT1 can be replaced by P1 V1. Okay, so inside the bracket you have P2 by P1 to the power n minus 1 by n plus P3 by P2 to the power n minus 1 by n, and minus 1 which becomes minus 2. Okay, so the saving in work of compression as compared to the single stage compressor will vary with the intermediate pressure P2. So what amount of work is saved? So that is depending upon the intermediate pressure P2. As P2 approaches P1 or P3, the saving in work tends to be 0. If P2 is approaching close to P1 or P3, so then the saving in work reduces. So for a definite P2 in between, the saving is maximum, that is the work input is minimum. Okay, saving is maximum means the work input is minimum. So that you have to find out. Now let us find out the condition for minimum work of compression or the optimum intermediate pressure. So as we discussed in the previous slide, so for a particular value of P2, so there will be maximum saving in work, or the work input for the multi-stage or two-stage compressor becomes minimum. So let us find out that intermediate pressure P2. So for a two-stage reciprocating air compressor with perfect intercooling, because when we derive the expression for the minimum work input, so always you have to look into perfect intercooling, because that is the main important thing required for to have the minimum work. So the work of compression in a two-stage reciprocating air compressor is given by W is equal to n by n minus 1 P1 V1 inside the bracket, P2 by P1 to the power n minus 1 by n plus P3 by P to the power n minus 1 by n minus 2. Now if the intake pressure P1 and delivery pressure P3 are fixed, then the least value of the intermediate or intercooler pressure P2 may be obtained by differentiating the above equation with respect to P2. Now you are finding the optimum value of P2 intermediate pressure for minimum W. So mathematically, so that is nothing but you have to differentiate this expression for work done with respect to P2. So that is the requirement as per the mathematics. You have to find out minimum work expression for P2 to have minimum work done. So you have the work expression for the work done. So you have to differentiate that with respect to P2. It may be noted that the value of P2 thus obtained denotes the pressure in the intercooler at which the work required to drive the compressor is minimum, Therefore, so you have to do dw by dp2 and you have to equate it to 0. So here now you have to do dw by dp2 and you have to equate it to 0. So d by dp2 of w expression, can you see here, because I cannot go back while shooting. Okay, so n by n minus 1 p1 v1 bracket p2 by p1 to the power n minus 1 by n plus p3 by p to the power n minus 1 by n minus 2. This you have to differentiate. To make the differentiation simpler, so let us take as n minus 1 by n as a, just for simplification. Later we will resubstitute it back. So what happens? So this becomes d by dp2 1 by a p1 v1 bracket p2 by p1 to the power a plus p3 by p2 to the power a minus 2. Okay, this should be equal to 0. It's missing, no issue. Okay, next equation is written. Now 1 by a, because we are differentiating with respect to p2, so 1 by a is a constant, also the p1 v1, so that is taken outside. Now inside here in the first term of this, 1 by p1 to the power a is constant, you can see here, and p to the power a you have to differentiate, that becomes a p to the power a minus 1 plus here p3 to the power a becomes constant, which is written outside, and this p2 is in the denominator. When it goes to the numerator it becomes p to the power minus a, so that is why it is minus a p to the power minus a minus 1. Now here, since other side is equal to 0, so this term gets cancelled, right? So these two terms you have to write. So after simplification you will get it as a, here is a is here, and p1 when it goes to numerator p1 to the power minus a, p to the power a minus 1 as it is, here minus is there, this minus a is there, so that is minus a, p3 to the power a as such, and p to the power minus a minus 1. Now since minus e is here, so bring this term to the other side of the equal sign, so you get a p1 to the power minus a p to the power a minus 1 is equal to a p3 to the power a p to the power minus a minus 1. A gets cancelled on either side. So you'll get p2, after simplification you'll get p2 to the power a minus 1 divided by p2 to the power minus a minus 1 is equal to p3 to the power a divided by p1 to the power a. Now this first term, if you simplify, because base is same and this you can take it to the numerator, so it becomes plus a plus 1, whatever this goes to numerator it becomes plus a plus 1. So plus 1 minus 1 a gets cancelled, plus a it becomes 2a. So rather me explaining like that, you better take a book and pen and you try to simplify yourself. Here when this p to the power p1 to the power minus a goes to the numerator, it becomes p1 to the power a, so it becomes p1 p3 whole to the power a. So a from here and a from here also gets cancelled, so it becomes p2 square is equal to p1 p3, or p2 is equal to square root of p1 p3. This is how beautifully we got an expression for intermediate pressure P2 in terms of the initial pressure and the delivery pressure. So what is the condition? The intermediate pressure should be square root of P1 P3. If you fix the inlet pressure and the delivery pressure, for example, if I take atmospheric or 1 bar pressure as the inlet intake pressure and 100 bar pressure as the delivery pressure, so P1 is 1, P3 is 100, 1 into 100 is 100, square root of 100 is 10, so P2 should be 10 bar. That means first stage 1 to 10, second stage 10 to 100, 10 to 100 is also 100 by 10 is 1 is to 10 ratio. So equal pressure ratio. So that is what P2 by P1 is equal to P3 by P2. So you get equal pressure ratio. So that is P3 by P1 whole to the power half. Okay, that is just a manipulation of this. If you manipulate, then if you rewrite that, or if you start from here, okay, so then you will get this. Because here P2 square you can write as P2 into P2. So one P2 keep it here, bring P1 to this side, and other P3 is here, bring other P2 denominator. So that is what you get, P2 by P1 is equal to P3 by P2. So this is also equal to P3 by P1 whole to the power half. Okay, or P3 by P2 is equal to P3 by P1 whole to the power half. So from this you can write the expression P3 by P2 is equal to P3 by P1 whole to the power half. Okay, which is also equal to P2 by P1. So in general you can write it as Pn plus 1 by Pn You see, for a two-stage compression, here n is 2, right? So this 3 is nothing but n plus 1, because two stage 2 plus 1 is 3, divided by 2 is here, so that is nothing but P2. Here P3, this is initial pressure P1, so don't touch it, as right is as it is. This 3 again can be written as Pn plus 1 whole to the power 1 by n. So where n is the number of stages. So this is a general formula for the stage pressure ratio. Pn plus 1 by Pn is equal to Pn plus 1 by P1 whole to the power 1 by n. So again n is with the power also, number of stages are involved. Now substituting the value of P3 by P2 is equal to P2 by P1 in the expression 1, we have get the minimum work required for two-stage compressor as, so this is as it is, this is also as it is. Here you can see the P3 by P2 is written as P2 by P1. Power remains same. So this both the terms, if you add, it becomes 2 times. So 2 gets again common, 2 here, and this is 2 times. So 2 is taken outside. So 2 into n by n minus 1 P1 V1 bracket P2 by P1 to the power n minus 1 by n minus 1. So this is the expression for the two-stage compression with the condition of minimum work. That means it is nothing but the total work is nothing but equal to 2 times the work required in each stage. So your work required in each stage is same, because stage pressure ratios are also equal for the 2 stages. So two-stage compression, minimum work of compression is 2 into work required in each stage. Now substituting P2 by P1 is equal to P3 by P1 to the power 1 by 2 in this expression 4. So you'll get the work of compression as for two-stage compression is W is equal to 2 into n by n minus 1 P1 V1. Now in place of P2 by P1 here, if you substitute P3 by P1 to the power 1 by 2, you'll get P3 by P1 to the power n minus 1 by 2n minus 1 as it is. Okay, just simplify yourself, you'll understand. Similarly, it can be proved that for a 3-stage compressor, P2 by P1 is equal to P3 by P2 is equal to P4 by P3. You see, if you have 3 stages, first stage pressure ratio P2 by P1 is equal to second stage pressure ratio P3 by P2 is equal to third stage pressure ratio P4 by P3 is equal to Pn plus 1 by P1 to the power 1 by n. So what is n here? 3 stage. So it is P4 by P1 to the power 1 by 3. So this expression is very useful when you solve multi-stage compression numerical problems. Okay, to find out the stage pressure ratio, final pressure ratio, or intermediate pressures, you can use this. So for a compression of n number of stages, so this is the expression P2 by P1 is equal to P3 by P2 is equal to P4 by P3 is equal to, and so on. Pn plus 1 by Pn is equal to Pn plus 1 by P1 whole to the power 1 by n. And the minimum work required for a 3-stage compressor, you can write as W is equal to 3 into n by n minus 1 P1 V1 P4 by P1 to the power n minus 1 by 3n minus 1. You see how easily you can write the work of minimum work of compression for a 3-stage compressor. Remember, this you can write only if the condition for the minimum work is satisfied. Otherwise you cannot write. And also there should be perfect intercooling. That's very important. So that you can also write as P1 V1, you can replace it by MRT1, right? So W is equal to 3 into n by n minus 1 MRT1, and inside the bracket you can write as P4 by P1, that is the ratio of the delivery pressure to the initial pressure to the power n minus 1 by 3 n minus 1. So in general, for a compressor having n number of stages, you can write W is equal to n, that is the number of stages, into n by n minus 1 P1 V1, right? And inside the bracket Pn plus 1 by P1 to the power n minus 1 by n minus 1. So here also number of stages are involved. Here also n plus 1 is the final delivery pressure. Here the number of stages. So if you remember this expression, so you can use it for multi-stage compression. Any number of stages, the condition for the minimum work of compression. So with this I conclude this lecture number 4, and we'll continue in lecture number 5. Thank you.